Today we are going to talk about we're going to talk about my dog barking. I guess I'm going to go check that out first. Okay, today we're going to talk about 7 tips to help remove the stink from your toilet. Because, yeah, toilets can be really disgusting. And when they're really disgusting, the bathroom can be especially disgusting. We are also going to talk about why the toilet is the pulse of the home. And that probably seems like a really strange thing to say, but there's an excellent story as to that. So, we're going to go ahead and get started with that. And first, before you do any cleaning of a toilet, I will highly recommend that you pull your hair back. This is definitely a job for your hair to be pulled back. Homemaking isn't just staying home, lounging on the couch, and plugging your kids into electronics. Homemaking requires work and effort, and it's a learned skill passed down from one generation to the next. So, what happens when you haven't been taught everything that you need to know? You can either learn things through your own hard LOL experience, or you can subscribe and listen to my crazy stories while I pass my knowledge and skills on to you. When an EMT comes to a person and they want to assess their vitals, one of the first things they do is they take their pulse. Am I right? The pulse can tell that EMT a lot of different things about how their heart and body are functioning. So why is the toilet the pulse of the home? This idea goes back to a friend of mine who was pregnant with her 4th baby and found out that she had cancer. A couple years later, maybe it was only a year later, I don't know. A little bit later, she was teaching a class that I went to, and she made a comment that has always stuck with me. I'm going to tell you what she said that changed my thinking and can change yours too. And we're going to do that while we're cleaning. First, before we even get started with our little 7 tips on how to find the stink in get rid of the stink in your toilet, the first pre-tip, so sort of it's a tip, but yeah, is perhaps your cleaning ritual is less than perfect. Or maybe it should be said, perhaps your child's cleaning ritual because I'm guessing that a lot of times you have your child cleaning the bathroom, isn't so great. The first place that stink hides and that you should probably spend a little extra time cleaning if your toilet in your bathroom starts to smell really yucky is right back here, these hinges. I'm gonna bring you up closer here in a second. Those hinges. And the way that you clean them, and this was not somebody's toothbrush that I just took off the thing. This is actually a cleaning toothbrush. I got it out of the sink because that's where I set it just a minute ago. This spot right here. This is where right underneath here on these spots and inside of here, especially if you have little boys, that's one spot that stink hides. And so if you open those up and give them an extra little squirt, get your cleaning toothbrush out and give them a good scrubbing, and of course dry it all off. That's the first place that stink hides. Okay, P.S. while we're at it, right underneath of the tank is another place that you should make sure you're getting when you're working on these hinges here. Second place that stink hides is kind of hard to find, but where this screw right here that we just cleaned the top of, where it goes through underneath, it collects stuff, because if that stuff is inside of this, it kind of goes down the screw, down, and pretty soon down here is pretty nasty, that screw. The bottom of those screws are the next place. Let's see if I can aim. Yeah, I sort of aimed. That's what little kids say when they go to the bathroom too. They sort of aimed. The third place that stink hides is down here where the toilet attaches to the floor. There's these little screw things here, and they have little covers, but these covers pop off, and for whatever reason, and I don't know how it happens, can you see the gunk in there? There's stuff in there. How did that even get in there? Because, like, it had a cover on it. But that is a place that stink hides. And while you're at it, before you put it on, you should probably make sure that you clean the inside of it. Actually, I got a little dog hair in there, lovely, because dog hairs get everywhere. Okay. Clean the inside of this too. The fourth place that stink hides is right down underneath between the toilet and the floor. And so, let's see if I can get a good angle here. If you give it a good squirt all the way around, cleaning toothbrush, you'll be amazed sometimes what you get out of there. It's pretty nasty a lot of times. The next place that stink hides, I don't actually have in my bathroom, but if you have tile, the grout of the tile. Now, I know that when they put the tile in, they put this grout sealer in, and it's supposed to protect it so that it doesn't have like things seep into the grout and stuff, but when you have pee on the floor and the enzymes from that pee is like sitting there on that grout, it's going to eat away at that grout sealer until at some point there is no grout sealer. And it's going to sink into the grout. And it stinks. And so scrubbing the grout, again, cleaner in a toothbrush, that kind of thing, will help get rid of the stink, because that is definitely a place that stink hides, is in the grout that's around your toilet. The sixth place that stink hides is in the tank. You see that in there? It'll grow mold and other nasty stuff like inside that tank. Smells collect. And the way that you clean out your tank, it usually cleans out better. And notice this right here. This is where I decided I wanted a black handle on my toilet, and I spray painted it. And, well, it didn't end well. Yeah. So we're going to ignore that. But the way that you clean the inside of your tank is that you come down here to this water shutoff and turn it all the way till it's all the way turned off, and then you flush the toilet. When you do that, the water basically all goes out. You're left with a couple of inches of water in there. You can take your cleaner and this is just like a magic eraser. The stains in here don't actually matter. What matters in here is that you scrubbed it up. And you get any like mold or other stuff. And you can see how the water down there is just super nasty now. So let's turn on the water. Once it fills up, flush it. And you can see how we got most of it out. And we're just gonna stir it up and do it a second time. And let it go out. The last place is, you should probably just check the rugs on the floor, because, yeah, those probably need to go through the washing machine. That's another place that stink hides. But, my last little suggestion is This is an enzyme cleaner. And this is just like nature's miracle, and it's made for like dogs, okay? For when dogs accidentally pee or puke or whatever else on the floor. If a dog pees in a specific spot on the floor and you clean it up and you don't use an enzyme cleaner, then it still smells like pee to him because there's still little bits of pee in there. And the enzyme cleaner breaks up the pee. A lot of times when I'm cleaning up pee that I think is like been there for a while, particularly like with the grout or under the very base of the toilet where the toilet meets the floor, I spray a lot so that it gets really up in there, and I scrub it really well with the toothbrush, because an enzyme cleaner breaking down the pee in those spots where it's hiding, and so anything that you accidentally left, that is a very good tip. Now, as to the reason that the toilet is the pulse of the home, I had a friend, and she was pregnant with her 4th baby, and she found out that she had cancer. And she did okay. Like, she made it through. I'm sure it was a very rough, I don't even know, a couple of years, but it was a year or two later. I was in a class that she was teaching, and she said something that like really stuck with me. Here is a young mom. She has 3 young kids. She's pregnant with her 4th, and she has cancer. Obviously, she needs help. She needs some friends that come and bring her meals. She needs friends that come and help her and take her kids occasionally and take them and do errands and just things like that for her. I think everybody needs those friends that they can, that they just know that somebody has their back. Friend, family, somebody that you just know that's your plan B, and that they have your back, and that if you call them in the middle of the night and say your toilet is overflowing, that they're going to come running over. And if they have like a bat in the house and they call you and they say, or they run over or whatever, and they say, I have a bat in the house, then you drop everything and you go and, yeah, everybody needs those friends. And if you don't have that friend, you can create that friend. And the way that you create that friend is by kindness begets kindness. If you want a friend like that, you have to be a friend like that. And so if your friends, if you haven't heard from them in a couple of weeks, text them or, find out what's going on. Make, not like all stalker-like, but just, every once in a while. Find out how they're doing and just keep tabs and see if they need help. And I don't know about you, but I know for myself that when a friend offers to help and they say something like, and I've said this before myself, and I still say it from time to time, if you need anything, give me a call. Do you call them? Like, maybe, if it's an easy thing or something, but like a lot of times I just don't do it because it's not that I don't know, I'm too independent. I have no idea. I have 2 things to say about that. First of all, if somebody offers to help, don't deny them the blessings of doing that and building that relationship so that they and you have somebody to call if you need somebody. And number 2, instead of saying that, perhaps you should offer something specific. Instead of saying, if you need anything, just give me a call. Say, can I come and take your kids, for a few hours this afternoon? Can I pick up your groceries for you? If you're over there visiting, you're like, hey, I have 10 more minutes and I gotta leave. I'm gonna do your dishes real quick. But suggest something instead of just offering. Because I know for myself personally, if somebody says, can I bring you dinner? I'm much more likely to say yes than if somebody says, if you need anything, give me a call. If you need anything, give me a call. I probably wouldn't even suggest them bringing me dinner. But if somebody says, hey, may I bring you dinner? Chances are I'm going to be like, yeah, actually that could be really helpful. Now, back to my friend that had cancer and was pregnant with her 4th baby. She was telling about, in this lesson that I was in, that she was teaching, she was telling about how a couple of ladies from her church stopped by and, to check on her, and they were chatting for a few minutes, and as they left, they said, can we do anything to help? And she said, I couldn't tell them that my toilets were collecting mold. I just could not bring myself to tell them that my toilets were horrible. And how many of us would be in that situation where you're like, somebody says, can I do something to help? And you're like, you're not going to be like, yes, you can come and clean my toilets. Like, we just don't do that. It's just kind of weird. Now, that is why I say that the toilet is the pulse of the home. If you're over at a friend's house and they've been having a hard time and you want to really know how they're doing, then you just kind of like say, hey, I gotta go use the bathroom, and you go into the bathroom and you see how clean their toilet is. And you don't see how clean their toilet is to like judge them or anything. You see how clean their toilet is to see how they're really doing. Because if their toilet is a mess, chances are they don't want it that way. And this is the reason that the toilet is the pulse of the home, is that people don't like it when their toilet is dirty. Like, I don't know anybody that loves a dirty toilet. And if they say they do, they probably also hate puppies, and so they're lying. Life gets busy sometimes, and you have work, and you have kids, and you're running errands, and you're not feeling well, and this happens, and that happens, and all of these different things happen, and when they happen, sometimes the toilet doesn't get the care that it needs. If you really want to know if you can do something to help, keep in mind that generally people aren't going to tell you that their toilet is collecting mold. They're going to smile and nod. And so if you really want to help somebody, and if you really want friends that have your back, and you really want to create those relationships, you should probably suggest something specific. What do my toilets say about me? They say that my family is just recently getting over COVID, and that my dad died last month, and that I have some health conditions, chronic health conditions that make it hard for me to do things, and that I deal with some depression and some doubt of self-worth that are so intense sometimes that I can't even function. If this is something that rings true to you, put a little thing in the comments below, pulse, because the toilet is the pulse of the home.